All right, what's up, you guys? What's up? What's up? We got James Degale, Rogelio Medina, Chunky versus Porky. Hell of a fight. Swing rounds. This fight is full of swing rounds. All right. Before I get started, I'm gonna give you my scorecard. I watched the fight one time. While the fight was on, I was watching bits and pieces of it. I was out. Was watching it on my phone. I didn't get to watch too much, but I seen the reaction online. I see everybody tweeting through the fight. And I see that a lot of people thought the fight was a draw, and there was a lot of people that thought Porky should have won the fight. Okay, Medina should have won the fight. All right, so I'm gonna give you my scorecard, and then we're gonna talk. All right, I gave the first round to Degale. Okay, first round went to Degale. Second round went to Degale, but I thought the second round was a swing round. All right, because I went to either fighter. Third round gave it to Porky. All right, gave it to Medina. Fourth round, swing round, but I gave it to Medina. Okay, so we tied right now. Fifth round, I gave it to Degale. Sixth round, I gave it to Medina, but it was another swing round that I gave to Medina. All right. Seventh round, I gave to Degale. Okay. Eighth round, I gave it to Medina, but it was another swing round. All right. Ninth round, I gave to Degale. 10th round, I gave to Medina again, another swing round, all right? 11 to Medina. 12, another swing round, which I gave to Medina, all right? So that's 7-5 for Medina. Now, before you get all mad or whoever thought whatever, first of all, it was a great fight. I don't know why anyone's complaining about anything. The fight was a great fight. It was a great fight. It was action-packed fight. Both of these guys were landing great shots. All right, the Medina threw over 1,000. He threw 100 punches per round, average. At least he averaged 100 punches a round. It was a great fight. Degale was landing nothing but clean shots throughout the fight. I mean, his percentage was crazy. All right. I don't remember what his final percentage was, but I didn't remember at one point it was like 68% landed power shots. I mean, that's sick. All right, and I think he landed over 600 punches in this fight. Very good fight. So I don't know why anyone's upset. Well, you know why? I know why people are upset. James Degale is very arrogant. All right, he's sticking his tongue out throughout the whole fight. After the fight is over, he's still sticking his tongue out at the post-fight interview. He's talking as if the fight wasn't as close as it was. It couldn't go either way. The fight definitely could have went either way. Obviously, I feel that way. Too many swing rounds. Half of those rounds were swing rounds, in my opinion. I remember the sixth round specifically. It's like Degale was winning for a good portion. The Medina is consistent through pretty much every round in this fight. Consistent. He's always bringing the action to Degale. Whenever Degale's on a rope, he's in trouble. He's getting hit. He's getting hit to the body. Medina is throwing a lot of shots. Not really accurate, but he's landing. He is landing, okay? And Degale's getting hit. Degale's getting hit. And those were, like, the sixth round was, like, the closest round where James Degale landed, like, a 5-punch combination. I don't know if you guys remember that round, but they showed it in a replay, and they replayed it, and Degale went to the body and went up top, or went up top, went to the body. And it's moments like that where there's so many rounds that could have been stolen. I feel like the judges gave Degale a lot of those swing rounds. They gave a lot because it looked good when Degale was landing. It looked very good. I'm not gonna lie. I gave the fight to Medina, but when Degale was on and he was landing, and it was clean, and it looked nice. It looked good. The combinations, it seemed like everything he was throwing, he threw that lead right uppercut the whole night. The whole night, it seems like anytime he threw that punch, it landed. Even his jab was on point, but he never stopped Medina. He never stopped him. Medina kept coming. And when Degale wanted to take breaks, he would just back himself into the ropes. And the thing is, when he's on the ropes, he's not Floyd Mayweather on the ropes. He's getting hit. He's getting hit. He's getting tagged. Uptown, downtown, he's getting tagged all over by Medina. And Paulie Malignaggi, shout out to him because he gave great commentary. He was definitely stressing Degale on his lack of using his jab. He was saying that, instead of just, keep using his feet to get away, stop using the footwork, get close to Medina, smother him up a little bit, like smother his punches and everything. This is what Paulie Malignaggi was saying. He was giving great commentary. Like, Degale was doing so many things wrong. And I don't know, he kept switching. You know how he does. He always fights that way. He was going orthodox to southpaw, kept switching his stance, and using his angles, and it looked good. It looked pretty, but he wasn't doing what he had to do to win this fight. Okay, Medina. I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but when Badou Jack fought Medina, Badou Jack stylistically was a better matchup for him because Badou is a worker. This guy is a guy that is very aggressive, but he can box well, and they kind of worked well against Medina. You know what I'm saying? He actually stayed close to Medina. Medina wasn't going to land. He wasn't going to throw that many shots that close to Jack. Jack closed the distance on him and smothered him. Jack actually fought Medina much better. Not saying that Jack is a better fighter than Degale, but the way Jack fought Medina was much better. This is why Medina fought so good, because Medina was cutting the ring off on Degale, and he wasn't giving Degale no space ever in the fight. Doesn't matter what Degale landed. He never landed anything to really hurt Medina, and Medina just kept coming. And Degale, it's you gotta call the fight based on what you like. Even those rounds, I scored this fight. I could watch this fight for a second time and give the fight to Degale, because some of those, 6 of those rounds I thought was swing rounds, and even the rounds that I picked Degale or Medina, they were still rounds that I could have picked for the other fighter. No one really dominated throughout that fight. No one had a super great round. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, it was a great fight. They gave it to Degale. I don't think it's a big deal. I think I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 of the judges that kind of had a little wide for Degale. But I can't even complain about that because 6 of those rounds to me were swing rounds. I can't argue with the decision. I picked Medina, but it was too close to call. I wanted to rewind it and watch some of the rounds again, but I didn't want to do it because I wanted to give it a fair first view scorecard, and I thought Medina won the fight, I thought he did enough to win, but did he beat the champ? Not really. I think, I'll tell you one thing though, Degale was definitely slowing down. Those last 3 rounds, he did not look good. I gave the last 3 rounds to Medina. Before that, I thought Degale was still doing enough to win. I think Medina was just, he wanted to fight more. He wanted to win more than Degale. Degale kind of was like, and that's the thing with this fight. We're all prepared to see Degale fight Badou Jack. The way they promoted this fight is like they're already looking to the future. Then they don't have time to let Degale lose this fight to Medina, someone that Badou Jack already beaten. And they don't have time to give Bute the win over Badou Jack in a close fight. They don't have time to do it because they don't want Badou Jack fighting James Degale again. Both of these guys have lost to the other fighters on this card. As far as Medina and Bute. All right. Even though I did think Jack won the fight with Bute, I thought Badou Jack, I'm not going to do a post-fight video on that. I thought the fight was very, very boring. It was very dry. But a lot of 168 fights went down this weekend. You also had Anthony Durrell fight Caleb Truax, and you had Andre Durrell fight. He fought this kid that fought Kovalev, the Australian dude. Oh man, I don't know how I forgot his name, but not a good performance by Andre Durrell. Oh, that was the worst I've seen him. But let me get back to this fight. As far as James Degale, I don't know. He's very arrogant for a guy that, he's doing a little too much showboating for me, and he's looking very average when he's showboating. Okay, he needs to fight more on his best level instead of fighting on the level of his opponents. Because in his recent fights, it seemed like he's fighting on the level of his opponents. He's not getting the job done. Okay, even against Andre Dirrell, a fight that I thought he was going to lose. Okay, it was clear that he was winning the fight early. He hurt Dirrell early. Okay, and he was coasting the second half of the fight and made it a close fight when it didn't have to be. Okay, and then he fought Lucien Bute. A lot of people, like including myself, I thought that was very possible that James Degale was going to get a stoppage. I mean, he did good against Brandon Gonzalez. He did good against forgot the other guy. I mean, but he's been having a great run, and I expected him to get have a really good performance against Lucien Bute, and Bute actually looked good against him. All right, I mean, I thought Degale won the fight, but I thought it was a really close, competitive fight. I mean, listen, I give Degale credit. He's doing what he has to do against good fighters, but he's fighting on their level, in my opinion, and he's not dominating some of these fights. Like, I mean, the guy can fight on the inside, and he just chooses not to against Medina. So anyway, the 168 division, I still haven't seen the Gilberto Ramirez fight against Arthur Abraham, but I'm not surprised Arthur Abraham lost that fight. Okay, because I really don't think Arthur Abraham is really that good. I think he hasn't looked that great in his last few performances. I thought Martin Murray was robbed. I thought that was a real robbery. Okay, I thought Martin Murray was robbed against Arthur Abraham, and I think Paul Smith really kind of could have won that first fight that they had. All right, I thought fight was very close too. But 168 division overall, it's not really that strong of a division. And I spoke on this recently in a video about Golovkin. People asking Golovkin to go up. Degale has looked very average recently. Okay, Dirrell, I don't know what's up with him, but he did not look good against Anthony Dirrell. I didn't expect him to lose to Badou Jack, and I didn't expect Andre Dirrell to look so bad in this fight over the weekend. I don't know what's up with the 168 division, but people asking for Golovkin to move up to that division right now, you're pretty much going to get what you're getting now, all right? I mean, even at one point, I thought Degale would be a guy that possibly could beat Golovkin and Andre Dirrell. And now when I'm looking at their fights right now, and I'm like, man, if he fought James Degale that night, he would have had a problem because, Molina is coming with it. And I'm not saying Triple G is going to throw 1,000 punches, but something's coming behind the punches that Golovkin throw. He has way much more power than Molina do. All right, and he's better defensively, and he's a better counterpuncher. He's a better boxer over. It's no debating. All right, but anyway, Degale is still doing what he has to do. I still think he can beat Badou Jack. Badou Jack is one of boxing's most improved fighters. I like the guy. The guy is very respectful. He's very classy. And he's improved dramatically. I mean, he's winning against good opponents. He didn't get the win against Bute. I thought he edged the fight. But I don't think he did as good against Bute as Degale. Even though that fight was close too, I thought Degale did a little better than against Bute than Badou Jack did. Okay, I thought Badou Jack won the fight, but it wasn't like no clear win. I thought he edged it. But they scored it a draw, which is not a big deal. But, I mean, I still think Badou Jack beating Dirrell and Anthony Dirrell and beating George Groves, still two big wins. All right, he beat Porky back in the day. He actually knocked him out, and, I mean, knocked him out bad, all right? He stopped him. But, I mean, at 168, I still think James Degale is that dude, all right? I still haven't seen a Ramirez fight. Badou Jack, I don't think he can beat Degale. I think Degale is still a little too skilled. All right, too skilled for our Battle Jack. But I hope he wins. When they fight, I hope he wins. I'm rooting for Battle Jack, but I don't think he could beat Degale. Degale is a little too good, in my opinion, even though he didn't look great in this fight. And I think people were expecting a knockout. So when they saw that the fight was so competitive, a lot of people started screaming robbery. I don't think it was a robbery. I just thought the fight was much closer than we all expected. Even though I think Medina won, still thought it was a very close fight. I can't call it a robbery because those rounds, you just can't call every fight a robbery. It's not a robbery. It's more like, no, it was closer than we thought it was. And they gave it to Degale, but I don't think it was like, it wasn't a big deal that they gave it to Degale. You know what I'm saying? So it was a close fight. It was a very good fight. I wouldn't have been mad at a draw. I think the draw would have been better. I thought it was more of a draw than the Butte and Badu fight. I thought that fight shouldn't have been a draw. I thought Badu Jack did enough to win the fight, and then I thought the other fight should have been a draw. All right. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. 168, if you want to bring up anybody in 168 or any fight of recently, Anthony Durrell knocking out Caleb Truax. Who cares? Like, all right, so what? He knocked him out in the first round. Like, who is Truax anyway? All right, he's not really no big deal. Who cares? All right, but he wants a rematch with Jack. I mean, he's still good. Anthony's still really good. I still think Andre is a little better between the two, but Andre hasn't really looked that great neither lately. All right. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. 168, these fights, and make sure you guys hit the subscribe. Peace.